Alright, hello everybody, Skyrim here, back yet again for another Diablo Immortal video, wrapping up the patch notes finally here as we are approaching the update and the maintenance and the patch and all that stuff going to be here very, very soon. So this will be something to listen to and follow along with while we wait and so on and so forth, playing other games, Path of Exile 2, that kind of thing. So, alright, here we go. We're just going to cover... And this one, there we are. Of course, the story is continuing. We're just going to touch very, very lightly on these things here. Not going to go into too much detail because, honestly, at this point, I don't want to spoil it. I just want to enjoy it for what it is, and I'm just going to wait until it arrives and, you know, take it as it may be. That's the way I think a lot of this should be enjoyed, honestly. There's too many leaks in the world today as far as things go, but I mean, that's the downside in the sense of the internet where everything's at our fingertips literally at all times, good or bad. Alright, relive the climatic clash against the Lord of Terror, as you can see there. Nice big boy. Looks like a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Okay. And then the dungeons that you can crank up the difficulty on. That's... whatever. Unfortunately, this one, we can only do this. Your first challenge dungeon completed each week. First one completed each week. Week, not daily, but week. Will provide a chest with a guaranteed set item. It would be nice if it was a guaranteed triple slot. And all challenge runs will have a higher chance of dropping potent rewards, but then that is a gray area still. So we'll find out what potent rewards are when we go and run these multiple times and be like, yeah, not worth it, or, oh, holy crap, this is actually a good thing. So we'll find out. We don't know for 100% sure until we actually test it ourselves as the player base itself. Their words, honestly, are, you know, meaningless otherwise. Let's see. Monsters have 5,000, or no, 5,000, 500% more life and deal 200% more damage than challenge dungeons. So there's that. This feels very much like Diablo 4 implications here. So yeah, and then here's all the different affixes, the modifiers, modifiers that are in each of these that you have a chance of getting. I think there's what, 2 per dungeon? Or something to that effect. Well, either way, 2 or 1. Yeah, 1 to 2 random dungeon modifiers. Okay. So you might get 1, you might get 2. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, and then more Heliquary bosses, of course, with the introduction of the new difficulties. We've discussed this in previous videos and so on and so forth earlier. Moving on. We have the Terrace and the limited time event. That one's... from the 13th to the 27th. We got one going on right now, but it's just basically log in on X, Y, and Z days and collect stuff. And right now we actually do have a bonus experience to our battle pass. I'm not going to bother hiding the patch. You can see it right here. We got the 100% bonus that's going to go on, I think, until the patch goes live. And then we're going to all pretty much get experience bonus on our experience bars down below because we're going to be... under server Paragon because they're raising it to 600. So we're going to be back to under server Paragons. And a lot of us that haven't seen a green bar, experience bar in a long time are going to see that again, and it's going to feel weird. So there's that. And then they have some holiday themed events coming up here. Nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing too crazy. Just a couple slight twists to the same events that we usually get. There's the gems again. We've already discussed these. Battle Pass. Take it or leave it, I guess, on the skins as per usual when it comes to these Battle Pass ones. They're kind of mediocre at best because, well, obviously they're not the Phantom Markets, and that's not what they put their most effort into. But it's always a point of contention with people. Some people like them, some people don't like them, and it's pretty polarizing both sides. And as you can see here, the Phantom Market, this is their money makers, so they brought another one back around again. We've had multiple of these in a row now. It's like 1 per month, it seems, anymore. So they're really trying to milk the cow. But yeah, there's that. And of course, there's the atrocious drop rates. The emoji is still in here at 60% on the first draw. Just remove the emoji, okay? Just remove the emoji. Put another weapon or something, weapon skin or something. It doesn't have to be too outlandish. Just remove the emoji. That's all we ask at this point. The emojis are absolutely useless, and they hog up far, far, far too much of the percentage on everything else. Like I said, make it a weapon skin. Make it like, you know, one of the early Battle Pass weapon skins or something that's, you know, not your precious Phantom Market stuff, but at least, you know, something else other than emoji. That's all we ask. The Eternal War Rage is on, of course. The crossover event's still going on till the end of the year. So that's why we're still getting those annoying little frost charms in the event. I didn't mean to press this part. I did not mean to press this one. Okay, yeah, we know. Fallen Citadel, Cutthroat, Bot Basin. Bot Basin! If you haven't seen that short video I did, you should check it out, honestly. I had a lot of fun doing it just because. Little haha. But yeah, let's see here. The Fallen Citadel thing's still going on. We still get these every Wednesday at resets. We got another couple weeks of this. Honestly, this is the only part that I don't like about the Fallen Citadel is when these frozen boons and frozen boons drop and the Fallen Citadel gates drop. They show up as stars in the map, and you're thinking, "Oh, cool, legendaries dropping like crazy." No, it's the event ticket stuff. So that's the one thing that kind of bothers me still on that one. Returning events, Conqueror's coming back, Hungry Moon's coming back, Brumaltine, more Brumaltine, please. Oh wait, no, that's Ovaltine. Sorry. Not sponsored either. But yeah, no, Brumaltine is, or Brumaltine, or however you want to pronounce it, honestly, is coming back. You know, holiday, Christmas event, whatever you want to call it, that kind of thing. Probably. I don't know if we still get the little letters to send out to people or not. That was kind of annoyingly and how it was spam-like the last time, but I think that's kind of what it is still, but I don't think you can send it to the same people multiple times anymore. That's kind of a good thing in that regard, but anyway, I don't know. It's okay, but I don't know. I feel like it could be a little bit better than what it is. Wild Brawl, Shady Stock, Alley of Blood, the usual fare, clans on deck, and holiday fractured plane, mind you. So, ooh, a little festive twist. What a twist! We got, let's see, what modifiers in this one? Oh, look out for the Ambusher. So that might sound like an assassin kind of minion or a boss kind of character to throw into the fray that you might not expect. The Ambusher sounds along the lines of Butcher, so I don't know what that's going to be. We'll find out. Fleet-footed modifiers. Oh, actually, no. This is not Survivor's Bane. This is this is Fractured Plane. Excuse me, Ambusher. So yeah, it might even still be like the Butcher fight thrown into Fractured Plane, which is kind of going to suck because the skills that we get in there aren't always the greatest, and we feel kind of meh at the very beginning already as it is, but the fleet-footed modifier sounds nice. Just give us that one all the time. We'll gladly take that one. Nearsighted and chain lightning modifiers. Alright, fair enough. So, yeah. What a twist! Trial of the Hordes and Shield of the Hearth, which this one is just another zoning event and generic rewards. Yeah, that one too. Anyway, and we've already discussed the balance. All the new essences on the way. As you can see here, we're scrolling past all this stuff. There's a lot here. There was a lot here. Change of magic, magic affix balance changes. We've discussed this in the previous videos. Okay, feature updates. We got a new progression system with the Seeker's Path. So basically, grind harder to get your rewards this time, and you'll passively earn combat rating. They've changed the Heliquary tableau as well. Ancestral tableau, excuse me. Well, whatever you want. It's the tableau. I don't know how I feel about it because, yeah, Ancestral tableau will no longer provide combat rating. So that's massive. We're going to talk about that, honestly, as the one biggest topic here to begin with. I'm trying to wrap everything up in this one, but who knows. Let's see. Ancestral tableau. Oh, yeah, I got to hide the patch notes now. Alright, well, here's what I got on mine. And mine's been in decay for ages because the server tableau is at 1460 my combat rating is at 1613. So it sounds like they're gonna nerf for combat rating. And we have to recoup that by doing this Seeker's Path and some various other activities now. Yeah. So this is kind of in this case, combat rating in this game is huge. Absolutely huge. So they're supposedly providing us with more sources of it, but at the same time, they're really nerfing this bad at the same time. So I don't know how it's gonna look once we try to come out of this. I don't know how much of a struggle it's gonna be. We're gonna find out, obviously, whether we like it or not. We're gonna find out one way or the other how this is gonna go down, and just have to deal with it. Hopefully, it's gonna be pretty streamlined. But if they hit us with this early, and we all have like a combat rating deficit, I'm gonna actually try to remind myself to take like screen captures and save some screenshots of my character loadouts and my maximum combat rating character build that I have saved in my armory, and be like, all right, this is baseline, and then the patch goes live. I'm gonna compare it side by side with what we're at, you know, then, and be like, we lost a ton. And I hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case. I'm just saying there's going to be some adjustments. So hopefully at the very outset, whatever we have in the Seeker's Path is going to be there laying in wait for us to claim and boost us immediately back up, and hopefully even then some. But it kind of, I don't know, I have a sneaking suspicion, and we might be under from what we used to be, which is gonna really, really suck. I've seen this discussed a little bit in the comments already, and I was gonna get around to it in this video, so that's why I kind of held off. So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna fare, and I'm honestly a little uneasy about it, because combat rating is everything as far as clearing content in this game. It's been the pain point and the focal point of that entire aspect the entire time here, and if they screw this up too badly, then that's on them, for one, and for two, it's going to make it a terrible, even more of a terrible experience for everybody, including those of us who have been here since day one, not just the newer players that are learning what combat rating is. So anyway, said long enough on that one, but yeah, as you can see here, and also rip Warbands entirely at this point, because you know, I have one of my own, and I've had a revolving door of people for quite some time in it, and then for a certain point, I just kind of gave up. And then the last core group that I had hung around for a very long time. Definitely missed them, of course, but it is what it is. Life goes on, that kind of thing, and they haven't been back around in ages. So I just kind of stopped. But I kept it because simply of the remnants that I have in there for the Protector build modifier and the Tableau, but now the Tableau is going to be X'd out entirely. So yeah, rip Warbands. As you can see, yeah, the Ancestor Tableau is no longer part of the Warband activity, and it unlocks upon reaching level 20. You do not need to be in a Warband to access it. I mean, the Ancestor Tableau, it says, is not part of a Warband activity, but it still exists. So that's kind of funky as well. But anyway, activity points, formerly called Warband activity points, can now be earned by completing the Defense of Seringar and Purge of the Depths activities. So I'm going to still be doing that by myself, if it comes to it. Hopefully not. I might put a squash on that and say no. Bounties, Elder Rifts, and dungeons with friends, clans, or warbands. So when they mean friends, does it actually have to be on our friend list, or can it just be in parties in general? Because if it's just going to be in parties, I'll just run Elder Rifts all day long until I max out for the week, and then move on to something else and see if that accumulates. Dungeons, of course, do parties for daily party gems anyway, so on and so forth. So you don't really need warbands. You can do all the other activities and be perfectly fine without. Activity points can still be earned from completing these activities solo. So you can do it solo as well, but at a reduced rate. So you're still getting them doing all kinds of activities. So I'm not really too fussed about the whole warband issue at all, honestly. They've gone so far, they've gone back and forth in warbands throughout this entire length in the life of the game. It's ridiculous. They pushed them so hard on us at the very beginning, like so obsessively hard. And yet, granted, it's a mobile game. It's a little bit more socialite in that aspect, but at the same time, there's far too much stuff going on in this game to keep up and, you know, be that sociable in that sense with it. So then they kind of started to pull back on it and pull back on it and pull back on it, and then here we are now. So they've pretty much phased them out. The weekly cap for activity points has been removed, however, so this is a definite plus. This is definite plus. The rate at which your activity points will be converted is based on your character's seeker rating in relation to your server's seeker rating. So it's no longer, you know, server paragon rating, it's seeker rating. So whatever they're deeming this to be for combat rating wise, I suppose, is what's going to dictate the pace as well. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Again, one more time, but and here's the developer's note, so let's hear it from the horse's mouth. This change aims to help adventurers enhance their power more effectively. Yeah, I was going to say efficiently, but effectively. For those who are behind in progression, catching up on upgrading their equipment, Reliquary and Ancestral Tableau is extremely challenging. That much I will agree on. If you're just starting out in the game and you're not in the Warband or whatever else, yeah, but I mean, it didn't take much to get into a Warband. In like a day, you can do a set of raids and be back on track, and you can benefit from the Warband's tableau. So, whatever, I guess, just phase it out. Like I said, extremely challenging, especially in participating in Warband activities is required to advance your Ancestral Tableau. So, again, it doesn't take that much, but I guess even that was too much. We have consolidated these 3 systems into the Seeker's Path and removed the restriction tying Ancestral Tableau to Warbands. So yeah, that's it right there. And familiars, not going to go too much into this now. This is another change to familiars. You can now send up to 4 bonded familiars to complete Accursed Tower Purification. That's pretty cool. Shadow contracts and even the Herodric Sanctum through the new Familiar Expeditions feature. The more familiars you send, the quicker they'll complete the task. While your familiars are hard at work repelling the forces, you can play as you normally would. They'll even continue their task if you exit Diablo Immortal. Passive AFK farming with your familiars. Isn't that interesting? Now, let's see. You'll receive rewards from completing these tasks as though you did yourself. I'm all for the Accursed Towers because, honestly, running around in those in circles, a lot of people use that for farming for runes, of course, which is still the best place to farm them and the like. But, I mean, if we can send familiars in and don't even have to worry about, you know, running around in circles and passively offline stuff, sure. Now, only conversion is also going to be used to upgrade your familiars here. The melding option has been removed entirely, which honestly is a good thing. They've kind of revamped the system a little bit. We'll have to kind of see how it goes and play it by ear. I'm not really too concerned about it. The other day, a while back, actually, I had a bunch of contracts saved up. And I have a fair amount now again. I got 12 and 3 right now. Only because they're honestly not that much use and pretty pointless. They're really making this harder to sell pets in the market, however, because they say once you convert them, they are bound to you. So the only pets we can sell in the market, I think, are the ones that are base straight up before you do anything with them. So obviously that's going to hurt the market pricing on them. And the market pricing that was deemed to the familiars anyway, it was always been terrible because we can't adjust it. And the price points they put on them is honestly ridiculous anyway. So it is what it is. There's that. Any newly summoned or purchased normal familiars are not tradable, however, as well. So any newly summoned or purchased normal familiars are not tradable. The new normal familiar created from the conversion is bound to the player and cannot be sold. So basically, it doesn't sound like we can almost sell any of them anyway. That's interesting. So yeah, it almost sounds like we can't even sell any of them, regardless of the fact. A new skill tier has been added for normal familiars, enhanced rare. Oh boy, enhanced for normal familiars. Oh, well, we don't really care about that, do we? We only care about the aberrants, honestly. Aside from the ones that give us utility. That's the only thing we really care about, the normal familiars, that they give us any utilities. Anyway, magic affix reroll. This one's huge. Forgive me for finally getting to that in this late in the video, but here we are. I'm rounding everything else out in this one, regardless of the fact. So strap in. Not strap on, but strap in. Magic affix reroll. If you have already upgraded all of your 8 primary equipment to rank 30, you can now use the new enchant feature at Blacksmith to reroll 1 magic affix on an item and replace it. This is huge. This is something I've been, like, you know, advocating for a very, 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 very long time, and I said this would be far more helpful than anything else at this point. I don't know if anybody caught wind of that and caught on and heard. I'd like to think I played somewhat of a part in that, but probably not. But still, nonetheless, this is one of the things I definitely was constantly asking for and wanted. So I'm glad to see that this is finally in game. This will be obviously tested. I'm going to save some trash legendaries and see how that works first, as opposed, and I suggest doing the same when it comes to this going live. Use a trash piece first, or wait and see, you know, one of my videos or somebody else's and see how we test this out and be like, okay, this is how this works. Because, you know, if you can re-roll the same one over and over again until you get the one you want, cool. But there's always a possibility. There's always a possibility that you can re-roll it one time and be like, well, that's the one you're stuck with, and that sucks. So, yeah. You can't change the Reliquary boss ones, the class-specific ones, or the skill-specific magic affixes, which is understandable, but at the same time, man, that would have been the ones to do. That would have been the ones to do to make this absolutely stellar. Would be a affix, a class-specific affix reroll, I think, honestly. But I am happy about this one because that means on the chest pieces and legs, you can finally get those beneficial effect duration rolls that don't always show up. So I am ecstatic about this because I was trashing so many chest and leg pieces over and over and over again because they didn't have beneficial effect duration, of which I had on my current gear, and that's why it took me so long to replace those pieces. So I'm looking forward to this one most emphatically. All right, the gem resonance we've already discussed, the legendary gems we've discussed. Normal gems. The normal gems acquired through the Gem Find Party bonus can now be tracked while in a group of 4 players. I'm not entirely sure how. We're finally, you know, this is, I don't want to get too excited because I don't know how this is going to work yet. Honestly, we've been tracking it in our view log all this time. So I don't know what they mean by tracking it. If it's going to be like in our, you know, codex, which I doubt because it sounds like it's going to be some other form. If it's going to be on the sidebar, okay, fine. That works too. So, yeah. Daily Party Gem Tracker. Something we've been screaming for. Finally is arriving in some shape or form here. We'll take anything we can get at this point, honestly. Again, they've put it in the codex before as a quest. Multiple times, either 8 or 12. I don't understand why they just couldn't leave it in. So here we go, and I even made a shorts funny video about that as well. So maybe they've listened. I don't know. I hope so. But here we are, nonetheless. Normal gem daily tracker. Now, the other thing to this as well, it doesn't show this in the global notes, but in the Chinese patch notes. In the Chinese patch notes, it says that this can carry over. If you do not get all 12 daily party gems in that one day, it will carry over to the next 2 days. And you can recoup that and collect them the next day after, and then some. Obviously, you'll get those as well. So you have to, you know, recoup up to, you'll be up to 24. It goes all the way up to 36. It goes all the way up to 36, and then if you're still behind, well, you're still behind. And that's as far as it goes to cap. But yeah, so now there's a carryover, and that's very beautiful as well. So I like that very, very much as far as the normal gems, because they are key to so much in this game. It's the armory. The new armory has been added to the battleground and tower war. So we got an armory now. We don't just have the essence lady, but you can see gems and items cannot be replaced. So those are locked in. Armories also have Oh, let's see. Wait a minute. Only the effects of essence transfer are retained for these PvP activities. So you're only swapping the essences. I don't know about the set pieces. That's a huge caveat. Actually, that's a huge caveat. It's probably just going to be the legendary essences themselves. So that kind of sucks that we can't swap the set pieces because certain essences work better with certain set pieces instead. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Again, it's going to be another thing we're going to have to test when it goes live, see how it goes. But this is a big deal. This will make it for those, you know, very situational, which we've found more often than not anymore. We'll have to look at like who's on the opposing team, whether we have barbs or not right now. Still, that meta is still going to continue on even after all these updates, unfortunately. That's not going to change too much, ever so slightly, but I don't think it's going to change, unfortunately. And it needs to. It desperately needs to. I was really hoping for that in some of these changes they made, but nonetheless. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that. We've already discussed that in a previous video. But so yeah, this one here is going to be nice to a degree, because then you can kind of gauge the other enemy team and see who's on there and adjust accordingly, obviously depending on whatever works for your playstyle and your class, etc. Alright, now the armories have received 2 updates. You can now save an activated Paragon specialization without saving points. So that's kind of interesting. Now, I don't know what that means, if we can add... Well, actually, no. Once you're in Battlegrounds, you usually can't add points to Paragon once you're inside there. So keep that in mind, too. A new display mode that allows you to clearly view individual equipment and their names has been added as well. That's a little odd. But anyway. We've made a handful of changes to honor labels. Most damage... Oh, Battlegrounds. This I would say is kind of a good thing, but at the same time, it's kind of a really bad thing. Because there's already been games, and I know who they are, and it's pretty hilarious, honestly, because they don't play objectives, which is fine, because it makes it more so for an easier win. But there's multiple whales out there that all they do is go for player kills. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything else. They don't play objectives, and most times they let their team lose by doing so. So, you know, that's kind of bad on them, but if they haven't learned yet, they're never going to, or they just choose not to. That's one or the other, or both. But anyway, as this says here, the badges that we all see in Battlegrounds for doing, you know, most kills, most defense, most support, that kind of thing. Yeah, assists, yeah, most damage, yeah. Extra points will be awarded to members of the losing side of a match who receive honor labels. Well, honestly, this unfortunately would carry more into the favor of the whales that just like to go for player kills, because they'll get the most damage badges now, even if they lose. So this is why it's bad. This is why it's bad. It's a poor choice in that sense, and again, like I said, I think this is in poor taste and not thought through properly. But then again, the devs don't play their own game here, and they didn't probably foresee that. This is honestly, I think, a bad choice. But anyway, honor labels will be more evenly distributed going forward, though, it says. Each team will receive their own honor labels. Okay? The points gained from honor labels will be displayed clearly in the post-match UI, of course, and they'll probably say it next to your name or next to the badge and say how many extra points you got, etc., etc. So instead of suffering, you know, too much in the loss, if you got like a support badge or whatever else, you'll get, you know, less deducted, I guess. But that's going to actually change the scoring pool that we already have too, so that's going to make things a little more all over the place. The Heliquary, a new damage meter displaying the top 4 damage dealers. It's just like dungeons. It's whatever. The downtime. Oh, this is glorious. This part here is very, very nice, and I'm finally glad it happened. They did it a little bit before, but it still seemed to hitch up and activate at weird moments. The immunity bars on the bosses were still kicking in, even though they said they already made adjustments previously. And they were absolutely terrible because they would be random, and sometimes at the worst time, and especially the lightning boss, he would seem to be immune forever, and you'd just be sitting there like, we've got him down to like next to no health, and he's got an immunity bar that's up for like 6 minutes. It felt like, you know. So this time they've reduced it, and the downtime and transitions for the following Helicory bosses has been reduced by removing life locks and adjusting triggers for spawns throughout the fight. Thank goodness. It's going to be an improvement from what it was. It sounds like they're still possibly in there in those little phase transitions, but hopefully not as terribly bad as they were. So yeah, this will definitely expedite the process in these raids and make them not so painfully long unnecessarily. And then the Prodigy Path, two Prodigy Paths will now be available each quarter of the year. The first two under the new system will run from December to January, and then January to March. Free rewards will remain the same, but will be split across both Prodigy Paths. Oh. But premium rewards will also remain the same, but you can now earn twice the amount if you purchase both of the paths. Oh, there's spending incentives. Not really, but you get the idea behind it, right? You get the idea behind it. A hero's journey reset. Lovely, right? I mean, we've had it for a while now. I finished mine a while ago, so it was only a matter of time. They were going to reset that one. Challenge Rift Season 10 already. I wasn't expecting this one, but it's happening. So we're going to have a Challenge Rift reset again. So honestly, what that means, though the levels should be adjusted easier. However, we'll have to find out how much our combat ratings is going to be screwed from the Seeker's adjustment here. So we'll have to keep that in mind. But theoretically, whenever they reset a Challenge Rift season, the combat rating is reduced a little bit and adjusted, so they should be easier, so we can, you know, catch up on a couple extra more levels for a time until we hit the wall again. So yeah, and then they even show it here. Adds levels 350 to 400, capping out a combat rating 47,522, and lowers the difficulty levels for the previous. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. So, yep, looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the next one. New Heraldric Bestiary entries. Not looking forward to this one at all, because I enjoyed the book loading being removed. I enjoyed just getting the guaranteed legendary on the first turn in, and just gear falling at my feet. I enjoyed that far more better. The book animation honestly is cool, and I do like the book itself. I do. I really do. But when we've done it so many times over, and then the loading time that it takes, that you can't escape it once you activate it. You have to sit through it and let it go. And that's the part that we don't like. I'm pretty sure that we don't like. But other than that, yeah, so we're going to have new ones to find again, and it's going to take forever. It's going to be RNG. Some people will cap them faster than others, and it's just really irritating when they're like, I got them all done. It's like, oh, good for you. I got like one left, and I've been sitting on it for months. Yeah. Adventures Chronicle. New entries to the Adventures Chronicle has been added, so we have to look for those throughout Sanctuary. The new zone, World's Crown. That's why. And then we've already discussed the Wing Awakenings in the previous video. Earn additional inventory and stash space. This one's very, very interesting. I haven't done this yet myself. I was going to wait until the patch goes live, because who knows what kind of a mess this could cause or what have you if you do it possibly before. If you have done this beforehand and you've made it this far into the video, let me know in the comments down below. I'm honestly curious what this whole process is. I haven't done it yet myself, and like I'm honestly waiting until to do this when the patch goes live, and then seeing how this works, because I feel like if I do it beforehand, you watch, the patch will go live, and then it'll just revert or not even be there anymore and be like, wait a minute, I already did this, and then you have to go back and do it all over again, or it'll bug out entirely and be like, well, you've already done this, but you can't have access to it, or something stupid. So that's why I haven't touched it yet. I've been afraid to, but who knows, it might work fine. It might work fine. So then there's that, and then the bug fixes. Aha! Bug fixes. Ha ha ha. We laugh at you all the time. Bug fixes. All right, there we go. Oh my God. All right, I didn't want this to go on for as long as it has, but here we are again, of course, nonetheless. Let me know what you think about this one. This is literally the quality of life update in this video in its entirety. I could have probably glossed over the events a little bit quicker at the beginning than what I did, but nonetheless, here we are. Warbands pretty much gone. and what have you. I mean, some of the diehards out there that are, really, in tight with their friends or whatever, I suppose, are still going to be running theirs, but nonetheless, you're not really missing out on anything anymore. And yeah, so warbands are gone. Warbands deleted, and we'll see what the combat rating system and how that's going to come into play. Hopefully, please, Blizzies, do not screw that up, because that was by design of your, everything so hard, heavily was banked on combat rating. So do not screw that up, because obviously you do screw that up. You screwed up your own programming. And, well, we've seen that before. But anyway, hopefully not. But anyway, until next time, everybody, stay safe out there in the real world, and far as always, take care of yourselves as best you can. One day at a time. That's all we can do. It's the best we can do. Really mean that. And until next time, see you.